Hello, everyone. This is Lindah Mavave. And thank you, Dr. Franklin, for inviting me onto this session to share my skills and what I know. I'm a true believer that each one of us, we have God-given skills that we can utilize and bring to the marketplace that will advance the marketplace. Many of us think just because people like Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, there's no other Facebook to be created. But there are more things out there that I truly believe God wants us to create at this time of Earth history, especially with the situations that we have been going through. Even I'll give you an example. The gentleman, I can't remember, who created Zoom, when he was being interviewed not so long ago, he said when he created Zoom, he just thought very few people were going to be using it. He didn't realize that millions of people were going to be trying to use his platform. And of course, we know during the stay home policy, a lot of people jumped on Zoom, but then it ended up almost crashing the system and breaching security and so forth, to a point that Zoom got into trouble in some countries and were booted out of countries, for example, like Singapore. Nobody uses Zoom anymore in Singapore because of security breaches in there. So I just say this to say, you might be sitting at home thinking, oh, I'm not techie minded. I don't have anything to bring to the marketplace, but you just have to unleash the creativity that God has given you. So I just want to reiterate, my name is Lindah Mavave, and I am a web developer. I specialize in WordPress, but I'm also a social media manager. I manage other people's social accounts, and I also build websites for my clients. I started out building websites, I think like in 2012. 2012. At that time, I knew no HTML, no CSS. I didn't even know what all that stood for. I just knew people did coding and stuff like that, but I had no clue what that entailed. So to start us off, I'm just going to bust some myths or misconceptions that people have out there when they think of web development. And the first myth is that a lot of people tell themselves, like I did, is, oh, I can never become a web developer because I'm not good at math. In order to become a web developer or programmer, you need to have math skills. That is a lie, that many of us have bought into. You don't need to have math skills. You don't need to be a mathematician in order to become a web developer or a programmer. But does math help? Of course it does help. Of course it does help, but you don't need any of that. Okay, so that is myth number one. So if you have wanted to be a web developer, you've always wanted to do programming, and you felt yourself draw back because you were not good at math or biology or any of the sciences, I'm here to tell you that that is not true. Okay. What you need when it comes to web development and any web skills is you just need to have the passion and the time, because there's a lot of time and effort that you have to put in to learn the language and the coding and so forth. So you just need time and um, time, and you're going to need the passion. Okay. And the second myth that I want to bust today is, oh, I want to build websites, but I don't know how to do HTML and CSS, so I cannot build a website. That is not true. When I started building websites in 2012, like I mentioned, I had no clue how to even do CSS and HTML and coding and JavaScript and all that. But what I did was I built websites using page builders. Okay. Some of the best page builders out there are like Divi, Elementor, Beaver Builder. All those are page builders that you can utilize to build a very good website. So you don't always have to think, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. The problem with many people out there, and it's a problem that I had in my own life, is continuously always looking at what you don't have. Well, I don't have this software, so I cannot do this. If we continuously look at what we don't have and don't act, we would never be able to build something. And I use the word never to just exaggerate, because that is the majority of people out there. Often I come across clients who say, I've always had this dream to write a book. Well, why haven't you written a book? Well, I don't have a computer. Well, go to the library and use their computers. Almost every country now has a computer at a library. Then, another excuse will be, well, I don't have transportation. So people create excuses, or they just don't want to be perfect. Recently, I had a client who said, I don't want to do Facebook Lives because I don't have the perfect lighting. I need to have the correct lighting. Well, that's just an excuse, because perfection really is an excuse not to get into the action. Okay, so let's look at myth number 3. I wrote down the myth here. Myth number 3 is, oh, I need to have computer science. No, you don't need to have computer science in order to become a web developer. Okay, when you get started, you're going to learn the basics of computer science, and that is going to be very helpful for you to know the basics of computer science, how it works and so forth, the binaries and so forth. That does help, but you don't need to sit there and think, I don't have computer science. I need to go to a 4-year degree program in order for me to become a computer programmer. Okay. And the last myth is, oh, it's going to take me years and years and years until I become a web developer. That is not true. I know of people who have gone from zero understanding of what web developing is to only 3 months of taking training and becoming web developers. That is how fast you can become a web developer. There are many people out there, and I'm sure you've seen some YouTube videos for those of you who are passionate about web programming, web development. People have taught themselves how to program. They became self-taught programmers. They went on to build applications. They went on to build apps that are actually being used. Okay. So it's all to do with our mindset. When you create an atmosphere and a mindset that is conducive to progress, you basically can do anything out there, let me tell you. But many of us, we have these limiting beliefs that we have put around ourselves of like, I cannot do this. And so we limit ourselves. But when you create that atmosphere or platform that says, I am the possible and I can do the impossible because God gives me a mind which can do the impossible, you will do so many things that you never thought to do. And I will give you my own examples. So building websites, there's some things sometimes you feel like, wow, I wish I could code this fancy box, on a client's website. And you keep thinking, oh, I wish I could, until you realize, well, let me get into it. I think I can do it. That was my thought. I was just wishing, I wish I could, until I sat down one day and said, I can do it too. If this person can do it, I can do it too. And I would Google, I would do my research. Okay. So now whenever I'm given a project and a client comes to me and say, can you do this? Can you do this? I'm looking at the list of what they want me to do. And of course, that imposter syndrome in me sometimes rises and says, no, you can't do it. You absolutely can't do it. You wouldn't be able to know how to code it. And my mindset is, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. And oftentimes I go in and I research the code and I'm able to do it. Okay. So let's jump into, what do you need to have, or where do you need to start as a web developer or graphics designer or a programmer? Okay, like everything else in life, you need to start off at ground zero, okay, in order to build your foundation. Okay, you start down there at the bottom because you're going to build a foundation. Okay, you're going to build a foundation. Most of us, this is where we give up because it's like, it's way too hard. It's difficult. But remember, you're building a foundation, and foundations, you're better off building a foundation slower and cementing everything. There are people, who will learn CSS and HTML code in like 2-3 weeks, but are they able to retain what they have learned? You're better off learning it at a pace where you are able to retain and build. So what I usually advise people to do is, when you come into web development, if you decide, hey, I want to be a web developer and I need to learn HTML and CSS. Those are the two main things that I would advise you to start learning, the HTML and the CSS. Okay. Those are very two important things, skills that you need to have. Why? Because once you have those down, they open the doors to more possibilities. Anyone right now, if you were to apply to any tech company and you say to them, I know how to do HTML and CSS very well, most people would say, yes. You're teachable? Yes. Okay. They will help you with everything else that needs to be done in that company. Why is this important? When most people come into web development, they want to do everything. That was like me. I wanted to learn Bootstrap and I wanted to learn Python, JavaScript, Swift, you name it. But you become a jack of all trades and master of none. And it's best if you just master certain skills in web development and run with that. Okay. Instead of trying to be spread out all over, you're not going to learn much. Because when you go to those interviews and they start asking you, they realize, well, it seems like she has the skills, but she doesn't have the depth. Because web development is one of those skills that you have to show your skills. You can't fake it. When you go to interviews, they're asking you questions. You might not get the answers correct, but they look into your portfolio. They might not look at your coding, but they look into your portfolio and say, yes, we think she has the skills. So there's really not much faking that you can do in this industry, unlike most industries. Okay, so you take those two skills. Now, I know most of you out there are saying, well, I've looked up how to get started, and it seems like you need lots of money. Maybe you have to go to a boot camp. There are boot camps out there, like where I live here in the US. Most people start off by going to a boot camp, a coding boot camp, which usually we're looking at anything between $4,000 to $15,000. That's what I wanted to do. And I quickly realized, oh my goodness, I don't have this amount of money. Besides that, I'm a single parent. I have my son with me. What am I going to do with him for those 8 weeks? There's no way I could go to those boot camps. Okay, so there are easier ways of actually learning coding, CSS for free. Yes, there are places out there that you can learn for free. However, like everything else in life, free comes with a price tag. So I'm going to do some screen sharing and I'm going to take you into one of the websites that has been very helpful for me. This is a great resource, one of the best resources out there. For any of you who want to get into web development, but you're saying, I don't have the money to pay for any of this, but I have the passion. I want to get into this skill. So I'm going to show you, a website that you can go onto. And this is, even if you're in South Africa, US, you can go onto this website today, sign up and start your training. But like I said, you're going to need time. It takes time. Okay. Oops, my goodness. Did I just go? Oh my goodness. Okay, there I am. I need to do screen sharing. I forgot. Screen share on. Okay. Now, how come we have those mirroring? Okay, what I'm going to do here, let me see if we can get rid of the mirroring image. I hope you can see my screen. Pravi, are you there? Are you able to tell me if you can see my screen, or Franklin?
Hi, Linda. Yes, we are able to see your screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. So this is a website that you can use for free. This is a website that was set up for web developers by web developers, and has actually produced quite a number of people who have gone on to be web developers. And as you can see here, it says since 2014, more than 40,000 free code camp Free.org graduates have gotten jobs at tech companies, including Google, Microsoft, Spotify, Amazon. Of course, who wouldn't want to work for Google or Microsoft or Apple? Okay. But these people simply started off with free. But let me emphasize, like I said, free comes with a price tag, and that is
Just ये
time.
अभी फ्रैंकलिन का संजना के पास कॉल आया to ask कि if we can carry on forward as a host because he needs to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Hello, Linda.
Yes.
But अब ये बताओ कि इसमें तो अभी डेलीगेट सिर्फ 3 ही है तो it's like हमने अपनी तरफ से इन्फॉर्म कर दिया तो let us do their recording.
Yes. Please, can I take a leave and I will join you back in the next
हाँ मतलब
few
जैसे
minutes?
प्रॉपर हो रहा है.
Yeah. Because I just need to respond
आप
to
पहले मटन.
them in the hospital. My wife just delivered right now.
Oh, praise God. Okay, sure. Sure.
Yeah, so they are put to bed. So let me just go get her back right now, and I'll be back.
Okay. Sure. Sure. So Pravi, I can continue?
Yes, Linda, you can continue.
Continue.
Okay. All right. So this is, like I mentioned, one of the best free resources in the world in web development on the web right now. Most people will talk about this website, and of course, there are people who have criticized it. One of the things that I have to say about this website is this is not the kind of website where they're taking your hand and holding your hand and cuddling you and say, well, sorry, it's so hard. No, it's a boot camp. Basically, they throw you in there and they say, start swimming. And then you start saying, how do I swim? And they say, you're going to learn. Okay. So basically it's a website where you come in, they say, do this, you do it. So you're learning by doing. That's one of the things I also want to emphasize. When it comes to web development, most people go and watch videos on YouTube and they watch videos and they watch videos and they never build anything. This is one of those, skills where whatever you learn, whether you watch a YouTube video, immediately you must do it right away, or you can do it as the video is playing. So with Free Code Camp, the way it was designed is that you come in, they teach you just a little bit, and then they say, go out and build. Okay. So here it is, get started. So all you do is you would, get started, sign in, and I think you just need your email address and so forth. Now, as you can see here, they have certifications. They will actually give you a certificate once you're done. Okay. So you actually, as it says here, earn certifications. Okay. So it starts off with basic HTML and HTML5. Okay. Now look at what it says here, 300 hours. Okay. 300 hours is quite a chunk of time. When you divide 300, let's just take out our calculators, okay, so that we don't make a mistake. I can just calculate that for you. You will see 300 hours is nothing, is not something to sneeze at. So let's just say we code for 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day, okay? Every 2 hours we are coding. And so So we code for every 100 and that if we code for 2 hours a day, okay, for 2 hours a day, okay, that means we can finish maybe, so 300 hours. So we could finish this program maybe in like, let's just say if you give yourself 5 months, and you're just coding at 2 hours a day. Okay. So 300 hours is a lot of work to put in for a program. Okay, so they start you off with introduction to basic HTML, say hello to HTML elements, headline with the H2 element. And as you can see, uncomment HTML, comment out HTML, delete, link to internal sections of a page with anchor elements. So as you can see, you would need to understand and learn all this terminology that's being used, because those are the things that if you go to an interview, you might be asked. Okay, create a bulleted unordered list. What is an unordered list? What is an ordered list? Create a text field, add placeholder text to a place field. So it's quite a bit of information that you would have to learn. Then you're going to go on to basic CSS. Okay, then you're going to go to applied visual design, applied accessibility, and all those things. And by the time you are done, of course, then you finish your 300 hours. Now, here's again another learning curve here. This is 300 hours of JavaScript, algorithms, and data structure certification. Now, most of us, when we started out, the algorithms, it takes a little bit of a learning curve, understanding algorithms, So some of this stuff you will breeze through, but others not. You're going to have to camp there for quite a while, understanding all this stuff. Now, am I saying I understand all this stuff now? No, I'm always continuously learning. Okay, so this is Free Code Camp, freecodecamp.org. As you can, search 6,000 plus tutorials. It's a very good website. Now, this is free. We're going to move on to the paid version of learning web development. And one of the most popular ones in the world right now is Code Academy. Okay, Code Academy. Now, Code Academy is not free. It's a paid version. This is the paid version with Code Academy. Now, given the choice between a paid and a free, I will definitely go with a paid. Now, with Code Academy, I am not a member yet because there's another platform that I use which is a paid version. I only found out about Code Academy after I'd already signed up on with this other company. Now, with Code Academy, they have a free version, as you can see, which I am one of the members. There's a free version, and the paid version. Well, again, how much is the paid version? $3,000, $2,000? No, none of that. Okay. The paid version is only $240 per year, or $19 a month if it's billed yearly. So it comes up to about $239. That is the program that, had I not signed up with this other company, I would have gone with. Actually, the company I signed up with was even more expensive than this company. I signed up for a $500, with a company that was charging $500 for their skills. Now, Code Academy is very good in that they will actually hold your hand and cuddle you and tell you, oh, it's so hard, but we know you can do it. How do they do that? They have forums, they have groups and chats where you can go and chat with other students and actually chat with some of the instructors. Okay, they will actually give you real world projects. Mobile practice, it's unlimited, step-by-step guidance, which is what most of us want. We want step-by-step guidance. Peer support. You'll have other students who are also doing the same thing. Okay, now, you won't have the team performance reports and unlimited licensing switch and flexible start dates. You don't have that. Okay, this is the pro version, but this is the most popular version. And as I said, this is $239. That is not bad. So even in rands, in South African rands, this is still very affordable. Many people, just by going through Code Academy, I know one girl, she took the training, and after 3 months, she applied for her first job, and she was hired on the spot because they went and looked at her profile, what she had done. And after only 3 months, she was hired. And that kind of story is not unusual. It's not unusual. Right now, the same girl, she's working for the Hilton hotels. She's a coder. She's doing coding for them. So many of these people who use Code Academy or even free code have gone on to be hired, like places like Uber. Uber is another place that hires young developers. I'm looking at my time. It's 11:39, and I want to leave time for us to be able to ask some questions if there's anyone who wants to ask questions. Okay, now let me go back. So I'm just going to start. See.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here. I thought I should manage some more time with you guys. And I also want to ask, would like to ask a question.
Yes.
The coding, what's the major difference between coding and programming? Does anyone, if you can program, does it mean that you can code?
Yes, but for the most part, yes. If you can, it's the same concept. most programmers start off with coding. It's like like Legos, it's your building block. It's your building block. Yeah, it's your building block. However, what most programmers don't do, which I feel they should do, is they don't go on to learn CSS, which is the cascading style sheet, like the colors, whatever, that's what makes your website or your application stands out. And I think that most programmers, if they went on to strengthen their CSS, they would end up in a way better place. But I've still have yet to find programmers who really know their CSS. They just go on to learn the really tough languages. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you so much, Lindah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Lindah, I do agree that you do not have any specific age to learn and to learn the coding. But
yes.
It just clicked one simple question to me. Which language do you think is the easiest to learn? Is it Java? Is it C, Python? Which language?
From my own experience, I had always wanted to learn Python, but when I looked when I went through the tutorial with Python, I felt that it was one of the easiest language to learn compared to JavaScript. So, but then the temptation, is to say, oh, let me learn Python. But as a front end developer, I felt like really I didn't need it right now. I need to strengthen my CSS and my JavaScript, my jQuery and all that stuff. So again, that's a good question. Go with the flow where you are flowing more and strengthen those skills, anchor them down, and then continue with where so with me, I know I have to stay on the front end because that's what I really want to go, be working with the graphics designers and so forth. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So thank you for answering that question. And I'll probably start learning some new languages soon.
Yes.
I know C language, but I probably think that I should learn something new as well. So
Absolutely. So do you enjoy more of the front end or the back end?
I somehow enjoy the back end where I can actually code and see how that things works at the front end because it gives you support for the front end. So that's why I want to always go for a back end coding.
Yes. Absolutely. So if you feel ready, I would say do Python. Because let me just say this, the market right now for programming, web development is hungry. People, companies, every day I have a job board that is sent to me. And, private clients, businesses saying, hey, we're looking for someone who can just help us with our website, and whether you're doing front end or back end, most people will say, okay, at least something, can you come and help us? So there's no shortage out there of jobs right now. So if I was in my younger days, if I knew what I know now, I would definitely just go in and say, you know what, I'm just going to at least have this skill set because I will always be able to depend on it. So I would say right now did you know about free code bootcamp, free code?
No, I just got to know it while you told me.
Yeah, use it. It's very, very, very good. Like I said, it's a very good resource. Many people have gotten jobs just using free code. It was developed by web developers and programmers for people who want to become web developers but did not have the income to go to boot camps.
Also, Lindah, we have one of our delegates here who would like to ask a question and has raised her hand. So I'll just invite her. I'll just send her the invite.
Okay, sure. And I see there are more questions here that I should be answering.
Yes, I could see one more Q&A which says, hi Lindah, can a sales and marketing person learn coding to enhance his chances of development? If yes, what should be the right option for him?
Okay, very good. Okay, so the person is saying here they are in sales and marketing. Okay, sales and marketing. Again, I would go back to CSS and HTML. If you can hone those two down, because remember with CSS, that's when we're doing all this pretty stuff, the text flying away or whatever it is. So for, you know, for example, I'm doing a website for a client and I'm using a page builder, Elementor, but I'm using the pro version. And in there, they have this line, a text where at the end, the text is doing, you can choose options like, so for example, the line is our customers think our company is amazing. So the word amazing is animated. It's
Mhm.
animated. So let's say you're in car sales. You can say our cars are amazing. And then the car drives in and it opens up. You did that because you know CSS and HTML. You didn't need to
Yeah.
hire some expensive graphics designer to do it for you, but because you know CSS and HTML. So again, that's what I would start off. Start off with your HTML and CSS, and you'll be able to do wonders because then you are able to do your flyers by yourself. Whatever things you can do, you can create your own website to advertise for your sales. Without again having to hire a more expensive, the end developer and the front end developers. So that's what I would say. I hope that answers the question. Hmm.
Perfect. And it was lovely to have you here on stage and learn about the free code camp and how we can actually start learning and it
Yes.
doesn't have an age
Yes.
for that. So it was a pleasure talking to you and thank you for motivating me as well so that I can learn the language.
Oh, you're most welcome, Pravi. Most welcome. And later on, you can get my email address from Franklin. Send me an email,
Mhm.
and I can go through some more resources with you that I might think you could benefit from. Now that you've mentioned that you want to go into it, and I'll find more resources. But today, I really just wanted to share Free Code Camp because I know there are people who are saying, like yourself, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to learn, and then later on share with you like, okay, Lindah, I'm done with my training. Where do I go? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
And
Well, sure.
that was so kind of you that I can share the email with you. I'll definitely do that.
All
Thank you
right.
for being
Sure.
there.
Good
Sure.
meeting you. And thank you, Dr. Franklin. I'm signing out.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Linda. It was so insightful and interesting. Thank you for
Thank you.
educating.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, thanks. Cheers. Bye. Hello, DT. Hello, DT. Hello. Hello, DT. DT, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course. When you can hear you clearly.
Okay, I thought Covenant is actually coming on board now. Uh,
Okay.
oh, but it's you now. Okay, can
Really?
I confirm something? I thought it's Covenant. Can you just
Uh,
hang in there a little bit? Maybe in the next. Okay, just hold on. Let me check for this guy.
okay. Okay. No problem. Hello, bro. Hello, bro.